A very good evening to you all and welcome from me, Rukid Edward Kijanangoma, to UBC News tonight, this Tuesday, the 19th day of April 2022. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. Prime Minister Robin Nabanja warns expectant mothers against services of TBAs. Police releases Easter crime report showing 69 people dead. Electoral Commission warns Omoro residents and political parties against early campaigns. And in sports, Budo SS off to a great start as Kitende and Kibuli are held. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, expectant mothers in Kakumiro district have been warned against seeking child delivery services of traditional birth attendants. Prime Minister Robin Nabanja attributes high cases of child and maternal mortality to mishandling by such traditional attendants. Nabanja was presiding over the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of Kasenyi Health Center 3 in Kakindo sub-county in Kakumiro district.
It is a World Bank-funded project valued at 1.8 billion Uganda shillings in partnership with the government of Uganda. This will address the challenge of child and maternal mortality. The Prime Minister Robin Nabanja warns against seeking service of traditional birth attendants who are confirmed contributors to high rates of child and maternal mortality. With the establishment of this facility, both expectant and already established mothers are happy.
Abantu babaire ni bafa muno emairo ziri musanju kuika health center for Kakindo obaire nosanga omukyala emihanda niye emibi akwasirwe kuzaara
tulina kusemera okuyingwa okuba tukuyimba abaana omumwanya ogutito muno oba mairo zitaito ntuba tuikira hairwaro lino.
The Kakumiro District Chief Administrative Officer Andrew Maweje says the new health center is timely. Local leaders of Kakumiro District have pledged close monitoring of the project to its conclusive success.
Population iri haiguru mutuyambe okole omulimo omutuufu mu budde ngazimbe nyumba yo otakikole tujja kuyiya.
The health center is expected to be completed by December 2022.
Now, police have released the Easter weekend crime report showing 69 people dead. Police spokesperson Fred Enanga highlighted on major operations throughout the holiday and 29 people died in accidents while 40 died in major crime incidents. Nasiru Wama reports.
In the 51 major incidents reported to police during the Easter weekend, 40 people were reported dead, 345 suspects arrested in connection to these crimes.
So the 40 lives which were lost are as follows: murder 10, murder by mob 7, suicide 5, suspected murder 4, murder by aggravated domestic violence 4, murder by shooting 3, suspected suicide 3, one case of sudden death, rash and negligent act causing death 1, Electrocution, 1 case. One case.
During the same period, aviation police intercepted trafficking of 15 Ugandans at Entebbe International Airport. The unscrupulous people wanted to exploit the Easter holiday and traffic people to Saudi Arabia without following set standards.
Amongst those intercepted, there's Namubiru Sanura, 32, Nabire Fazira, Nachito Maria, Babire Mole Muwau, Namubiru Monique Saku, Nakazi Aisha, Nabakoza Stella, Aro Florence, Nachijova Christine. Others included Kazibwe Edward, Nachiria Hadija, Nandi Masi, Afoyechan Immaculate, Naigwe Oliver, and Atuhire Pamela. So they are being investigated by the aviation police.
In other operations against criminal gangs, last week police reinforced patrols, and in Nsanji Wakiso district, 21 people were arrested after screening. In Old Kampala, 53 people were arrested. In Katwe policing area, 24 were arrested. In Kabalagala, 26 were arrested after screening.
This was a major operation because we recovered 78 flat screens that were suspected stolen in that operation, 54 mobile phones, mattresses, surveyor machines, laptops, 20 motorcycle engines.
Police believes these emerging criminal gangs of Greens in Chengela and Kasoro Group are intending to cause havoc in Kampala metropolitan area, being pushed by economic hardships.
So these operations that we've carried out have hit several of their locations, causing a huge dent into their criminal acts in Namungona, Kasubi, Nansana, Naweru, and Chengera. So we pledge to continue with these targeted operations until we restore sanity, security, and safety in those communities.
Meanwhile, police have updated on the investigations on poison claims of late Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya.
So the matter is with CID. Now, once they are ready with their summons, they will inform us.
Abdul Nasele Lubwama, Nakungu Irene for UBC News.
Now, during the Easter weekend, traffic police registered 108 accidents involving 104 people. Among the 108 accidents, 27 were fatal, which claimed 29 lives, and 75 of those sustained severe injuries. Now, the traffic operation also had 9,278 people arrested, although some were released after clearing penalties. In another development, the spokesperson, Traffic Police Farida Nampima, highlighted on when people's number plates are taken and who is supposed to take them.
Valid driving licenses, there were 822 offenders. Speeding, there were 343. Not wearing seat belts, there were 751. Those who were arrested riding motorcycles without wearing crash helmets, there were 520. And those who were arrested riding motorcycles carrying more than one person, there are 142 among others. So Traffic Directorate warns whoever is using a private car or drones to operate as PSVs. We continue to appeal to all drivers and road users on the roads to drive with discipline on the road. The rank is AIP and above, or under the supervision of the AIP. AIP is the officer with one PIP, one. That is an assistant inspector of police. One PIP. So if he's around, he can command your number plate to be removed. Under which circumstances? Your vehicle is not in a good shape. It's a DMC. you're being demanded EPS fines and you fail to pay them. Your number plate is taken as a surety for you to clear the revenue. It's given back to you. Any other rank below that, they can't deregister your car except when they're under supervision of AIP and above.
Clarification there on who should remove a number plate from your vehicle. Tomorrow now, where the Electoral Commission has warned that no campaigns should be carried out in Omoro County since no one has yet been cleared to run for the constituency. The Electoral Commission spokesperson Paul Bukenya told UBC TV that Omoro residents and political parties must comply and implement the earlier issued poll roadmap. Omoro constituency seat fell vacant after the death of former Speaker Jacob Ulanya.
With a few weeks left to the Omoro County Parliamentary by-elections, processes are swiftly moving on.
We are set to conduct the nominations on the 12th and 13th of May, and then the candidates who will be nominated will conduct their campaigns from the 16th of May up to the 24th of May, and then we'll have the polling on the 26th of May. So we are set as Electoral Commission. We have gotten the funds that we need for this activity, and we have recruited the staff whom we need to the temporary electoral staff, as well as mobilizing from our own staff. The people will undertake various activities relating to this activity. So at the same time, we also share the program with political parties who are also identifying their flag bearers.
In an interview with the UBC, the Electoral Commission spokesperson Paul Bukenya urges all stakeholders not to contravene the earlier EC guidelines.
We don't have any candidates in this by-election. We've not nominated any candidates, and I think what you're hearing about people who are aspiring to be nominated as candidates, and so we do not have any candidates. We've not organized any meetings for purposes of campaigns, but we know that political parties are mobilizing internally to identify flag bearers, and our guidance always is that do it within the law.
Kenya also gives an update regarding the forthcoming elections for women councils across the country.
The women councils and committees elections will be conducted, the various activities will be conducted on dates that we indicated between the months of June and the month of July and through August, when we have the delegates conference for the election of the National Women Council's Executive Committee. So we've started preparatory work to organize villages, and we started with an exercise that we called, which we undertook to compare, verify, and confirm administrative units in Uganda, administrative units being the villages and the parishes.
He, however, confirms that so far there has been no communication to the Commission of any vacancy in Parliament in line with the 2021 court petitions.
The cases, electoral petitions which are before courts of law at appeal level, and they are before courts of law, we cannot speculate about them. They're yet to be determined by the courts of law.
From credible sources, we are told that the NRM party chairperson, also President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has sought for audience this evening with some party members who have shown interest to replace the late Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Ulanya. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Preparations for Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba's 48th birthday celebrations are in high gear as both artists and guests have been drawn from across the region. Now, this Friday, his supporters and family members will be treated to a feast in Bushenyi district. Our reporter Robert Onyango spoke to event manager Balaam Warugahari Atenyi.
On 24th April 2022, this Friday, the Land Forces Commander and first son, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, will be turning 48 years of age. Unlike in the past years where the General silently celebrated his birthday with a few selected friends and family members, this time round the birthday is open to all members of the public.
General Muhoozi
The much anticipated proposed open birthday over the last 2 weeks has dominated social media platform debates in and around the world, with many doing the countdown to the D-Day to attend with a lot of imaginations on what the day will look like and hold.
We have a Rwandese artist. He's one of the best performing Rwandese artists. One of the very, very best. So he's coming to perform at St. Lodge. He will perform for the president.
Events promoter Baramubarugahari is at the center of Muhozi's birthday celebrations.
It is the birthday of the century. We shall have the first party in Ushenyi on Friday. We shall have the second party at Lugogo, organized by Uncle Toyota, on Saturday. We shall have another party organized by Muzei Museveni for selected few. Chief guest will be the president of Rwanda, General Paul Kagame. That will take place on Sunday. Then after a few days, maybe a week or 2 weeks, we are going to have the party of the century.
He says artists from within the country and those invited beyond borders have already confirmed their attendance.
We have Bebe Cool for Uganda. The biggest artist is called Bebe Cool in Uganda. So we have Bebe Cool on the night. We have others, so many others.
Among the notable one is the ghetto gladiator, musician turned into politician, Robert Chagulanyi, aka Bobby Wine.
Among the artists we are expecting to perform, one of them is Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine will perform at General's birthday. He will come and sing for the president.
Have you invited him?
Yes, I will send him a card and I will pay him. I will pay him, he will come and perform. I want him to be one of the performers for that event. Yes.
Why exactly him?
He's a good performer. I like his music. Personally, I like Bobby Wine's music, but when it comes to politics, I support Muhozi.
But why has this time round Muhozi's birthday celebration attracted the public eye?
God has reminded us that you are not celebrating one of the forgotten heroes has been General Muhozi. He's the one on the front line fighting ADF in Congo. He's the one now fighting the cattle thieves, the rustlers in Karamoja. Such a young man who would be at a balcony of his father's compound enjoying convoys of cars around Kampala. He decides to go to Karamoja, to pitch camp in Karamoja. We need to celebrate his birth.
At Bushenyi and Lugogo, the designated venues for the birthday, members of the general public will freely access the venues, party and wine into the deep hours of the night.
Ugandans have offered whatever they can. Chicken, trailers of lager, trailers of Uganda orange, trailers of everything, and love and t-shirts. Ugandans have offered. So we are going to party with our leader, our generation leader, and this party is unstoppable.
Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba is the son to Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, whose unmatched military skills and resilience has seen him rapidly rise to the ranks and assignments. He is currently the commander UPDF Land Forces, a position which either makes him the third or fourth top security personnel in Uganda. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Highly anticipated birthday bash for General Muhoozi in the offing. A female genital mutilation is a culture subscribed to by two communities, the Pokot and Sabinye, although government came up with the Anti-FGM Act of 2010 to punish offenders and protect vulnerable persons. Currently, the FGM national prevalence rate is at 0.3%. However, in areas of Karamoja and Sebe, it remains high at 50 and 20% respectively. Uganda will on Wednesday commemorate the Zero Tolerance Day for female genital mutilation, and the FGM national celebrations will be held in Kapchorwa district. The State Minister for Gender and Cultural Affairs, Peace Mutuzo, says government has committed to work with other countries of the region in the fight against the dehumanizing practice. The International Day of Zero Tolerance for FGM is always celebrated on the 6th of February.
Every 6th of February, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Day of Zero Tolerance for female genital mutilation. However, due to other commitments, we were unable to have this day observed in February, and it is now my pleasure to let Ugandans know that the day will be belatedly observed tomorrow, Wednesday, and the event will be hosted in Kapchorwa District Headquarters. we have been able to reduce the prevalence from 1.4% in 2011 to 0.3% in 2016 at a national level. However, prevalence in the practicing districts of Kapchorwa and Sabei, of Karamoja and Sabei region is still on in Karamoja and 20% in Sabei. We committed ourselves as a country in the East African community and Greater Horn of Africa to end cross-border migration for female genital mutilation.
Today in history.
On 19th April 2005, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger was elected as the successor to Pope John Paul II. Cardinal Ratzinger took the name, becoming the 265th pontiff in the Church's history, heading the then 1.1 billion Roman Catholics. Later, in 2013, Pope Benedict XVI resigned from his post as the head of the Catholic Church.
Pay for your dream phone, Mpola. Get your dream phone today for as low as 1,400 Uganda shillings with free data for a year and pay slowly. All phones come with daily 50 MBs for 12 months. Repayment period is 1 year. Available at MTN service centers and M-Kopa shops.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Owechitiwa Peter Maiga, the Prime Minister of Buganda, states, let us all take the necessary precautions.
Self-medication is always very dangerous. We should leave medical matters to the medical personnel. It's only a healthy population that can produce wealth. And if you want to work for your well-being, you must care about your health first.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
When COVID came, it felt like it destroyed everything my mom had built. She was ready to let go of her dreams. But when one door shuts, a window opens. She grabbed her last kamani and took a leap of faith. She refused to give up. So with a bit of daring and Grandma's secret recipe, her business was back. And not just bigger, beyond her wildest imagination.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where our great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV, and a warm welcome to those of you just joining us. Now, it's been over 4 months since the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, entered the Democratic Republic of the Congo to pursue the Allied Democratic Forces in the thickets of eastern DRC. In this special report, our reporter Haruna Mtesa Sira analyzes the impact of the joint military operation the hiccups and gains of the operation, codenamed Shujaa, mainly focused on weakening identified ADF camps.
UPDF and FRDC currently doing their best within the framework of the memorandum to end the sufferings of civilians from both countries from the violences inflicted by ADF. On 30th November 2021, UPDF launched strikes against ADF rebels hideouts in a joint operation with Democratic Republic of Congo troops deployed on the Congolese side of the border.
Been able to improve or to make another line of communication on the Lake Albert from Burasi, which is in Sengo, in Toroko district, linking up to Boga.
UPDF have now settled in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
We completely deny the enemy freedom of action to abduct, to train, to even continue collaboration and coordination networks with other foreign terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab, like Al-Qaeda, Islamic State. We want to use all our capabilities to deny them that. But also we're now focusing at livelihood activities.
The Deputy Defense Spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Kakulungu, reaffirms UPDF commitment for the lasting peace in the Eastern Congo.
We also make sure that we step up the capabilities of other forces that can help. For instance, zonal forces, because we're looking at zonal forces aspect with the FRDC. Because as we have mobile forces conducting full-scale operations against the terrorists.
Operation Shujaa mission's priority was to eradicate ADF rebels. The third phase also includes ensuring the safety of roads works on Kasindi, Beni, Butembo, and Bunagana, Lushuru, Goma roads, among others.
We also conducted infrastructural improvement activities, mainly on roads. In the area that we're operating in, we did security roads, Nobili, Mukakati, Semuliki, up to Beni. We improved those roads. We have also been able to improve or to make another line of communication.
Kakulungu told UBC the meeting between the UPDF Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbasumbadi, and Democratic Republic of Congo Chief of General Staff, General Musense Celestine, was to review and evaluate the joint military operations. Operation Shujaa focuses on neutralizing the ADF freedom of action and movement. Haruna Mtesasira, Daniel Gemwa, UBC News.
And Operation Shujaa continues. Thank you so much, Haruna Mtesasira, for that report there. And now to Parliament, where Parliament has granted leave to Workers' Representative Adinetwe Rwakajara to present a private member's bill seeking to amend the Parliamentary Pensions Act. Rwakajara says the Act in its current format does not consider new developments in the retirement benefits industry, which affect operations of the Parliamentary Pension Scheme. This quest for amendment comes a few weeks after the death of Speaker Jacob Ulanya, an unfortunate happening that revealed anomalies in the scheme. Our parliamentary reporter Henry Rukid filed the following report.
The Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill.
The Parliamentary Pensions Act in its current format does not cater for the children of a deceased Speaker of Parliament. It only caters for the spouse, an anomaly recently exposed following the death of former Speaker of Parliament, the late Jacob Ulanya.
That is the time when we realized that the Pension Act is not fair to members, is not fair to speakers, is not fair even to the Deputy Speaker.
This is just one of the legal abnormalities that the upcoming amendment bill is seeking to address.
Noting, however, that the Act does not take into consideration of new developments in the retirement benefit industry and implementation of some of the provisions of the Act has posed challenges to the operations of the scheme.
The bill now proposes to exempt the application of the laws of succession on the members' benefits under the scheme so that the members' wishes and aspirations as to how the benefits shall be shared in the event of his or her death is protected from any interferences.
I beg that we really sit down together with the member, we harmonize all these contradictions, we even look at the other bills regarding, let's say, the emoluments and entitlements of speakers and former speakers and their deputies and their spouses, which at the moment really are in contradiction.
Workers legislator Arina Rukid has been granted leave of parliament to right the wrongs in the parliamentary pension scheme.
By this House, those in favor say unto the contrary, nay. Right, have it.
Members of the scheme have unanimously welcomed the move, including Minister for Public Service Wilson Muruli Mukasa.
For instance, they are retired speakers of that assembly and they come from Uganda, then we see how best they are going to be catered for in their retirement period. So that's why really we have come up as Minister of Public Service to support this initiative.
The other gaps that are coming up now, it is just originating from that particular problem we had, because you will today or tomorrow you will have a speaker or a deputy speaker who might not have the spouse, and that same problem will continue.
We want to listen to former speakers, we want to listen to new ideas, such that if someone has served as a deputy speaker and then served as a speaker, the benefits should be increasing but not remain static.
Rukid will now work closely with all relevant stakeholders, including members of parliament, before the amendment bill is presented for the first reading. Henry Okurut, UBC.
The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, has advised all political parties to work towards changing people's lives. This was during a courtesy visit of Alliance for National Transformation, led by its President, Major General Retired Mugisha Muntu at Bulange, Mengo.
The Alliance for National Transformation President Major General Mugisha Muntu has visited Uganda Katikkiro and discussed matters concerning unprivileged people. They first held a closed-door meeting where journalists were barred. Later on, they entered into a cabinet room and addressed journalists. During this engagement, Katikkiro Mayiga advised politicians to deliver services to people.
70% of the Ugandans live in villages. We all know this. And probably they're the ones who give a true definition of Uganda. From the north to the south, from the west to the east, the problems faced by Ugandans are almost the same. Everywhere you go, I go to different parts of Uganda. I was in Karamoja in November. And my question was, what do these people feed on?
Mayiga disclosed that Bulange welcomes all people irrespective of color and appealed to all political parties to put aside misunderstandings and work to develop their people they represent.
Any political party, in my view, in our view, should concentrate on those areas. How can a country so rich in nutrients in the soils have starving people? How can that happen? In this country, it's very difficult to travel for 3 miles without coming across a water body. Fresh water everywhere you go. How can we not have sufficient and clean water?
The aunt president said that they have a hope that one day they will lead this nation, though challenges are many in this route.
We seek to get Ugandans, even when many people maybe have not paid attention yet, but we keep pushing out the same message over and over. We are not going to have a better future than what we have now by accident. Just simply not possible. We can only influence the future to be better than what we've lived in 60 years through deliberate, conscious, focused, consistent effort of those who desire to see that kind of future.
In attendance were former leader of opposition Winnie Kiza and other members of parliament. Brian Tumwinebia Ruhanga, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
Now, prosecution in the case where 8 suspects are accused of allegedly killing Major Muhammad Chigundu and his bodyguard in 2016 has disclosed evidence to the defense to be used in the hearing of the case. Evidence has been produced, including documents and written statements, although prosecution prayed to court for more time to tender in additional physical and electronic evidence. Justice Elizabeth Kabanda presided over the case.
The accused persons in the murder of Major Muhammad Chigundu and his bodyguard Sergeant Stephen Mukasa include Sheikh Yahya Ramadan Mwanje, Buyondo Muhammad, Sendege Abdu Wahab, Kalyango Abdu, Nyazi Yusuf, Kalyango Yasin, Nurdin Lutaya, and Ibrahim Semwanga. The 8 appeared at the International Crimes Division Court in Kololo before Justice Elizabeth Kabanda to proceed with the pre-trial of the charges against them. In the Justice's chambers, where journalists were denied access, prosecution disclosed evidence to the defense to be used in the trial, as they were ordered by the judge in the last court sitting.
Today, we have so far received 140 evidence, and this evidence is more in documentations or statements of several witnesses, at the same time the accused persons.
However, prosecution led by Rian Omara prayed to court for more time to tender in more additional evidence, including physical and electronic evidence.
Electronic disclosure involves getting evidence on the CDs or flash disks of several audios or even videos which occurred then. And also the physical involves us going to the scene of crime or any place which has been arranged and organized for us to confirm whether those are the same evidence as was in the year 2016.
Although court granted prosecution its prayers, court, however, ordered prosecution to disclose the physical and electronic evidence to the defense by the 22nd of April 2022.
Court has still again given them guidelines or deadlines on when they should do that. By this month, which is by this Friday, they must have given us the electronic disclosures. Secondly, by 20th or 22nd of next month, they must have done the physical disclosure or inspection. And then we shall appear in court on the 24th day of May.
Unlike Nyazi Yusuf and Ibrahim Semwanga, who are still on remand for other offences, the 6 accused persons' bail was extended to the 24th of May 2022 for further hearing of the case. Major Muhammad Chigundu and his bodyguard Sergeant Stephen Mukasa were murdered in cold blood in Masanafu, a Kampala suburb near the northern bypass in Wakiso district, on the 26th of November 2016 as he was heading for a radio talk show. Natong Rebecca, Susan Nabugode, UBC News.
The Joint Security Forces of Police and the UPDF will start forceful disarmament with effect from this week. This was agreed on in a strategic meeting chaired by the Deputy Director General, Internal Security Organization, Lieutenant Colonel Amy Katabazi, and the District Security Officers from Karamoja sub-region. The agenda of the meeting centered on returning peace and stability to Karamoja sub-region.
Since 2019, Karamoja sub-region has been experiencing insecurity characterized by commercialized raids, killings, road ambushes, among others. Government acquired air support, numbers, and additional human resource, but the insecurity has remained a big challenge. The Internal Security Organization Deputy Director General Lieutenant Colonel Emma Katabazi has met with the head of security in the 9 districts of Karamoja. These include the RDCs, OC5, DSOs, and their deputies, and discuss strategies to manage insecurity in the volatile Karamoja sub-region.
This week, if all the players involved can say, let this confusion end. And that's what I will present to you. Can I repeat? From the intelligence we have, knowing the players involved, if we decided that Karamoja can be peaceful, with effect from midnight tonight, it will be peaceful. But if we insist that we want to continue playing games, blaming each other, apportioning blame to others, then this problem shall be prolonged.
The meeting has resolved that the joint security forces of police and UPDF will start forceful disarmament with immediate effect this week. According to the intelligence,
rapid or robust disarmament mobilization, so that we can mobilize our people, mobilize the population of Karamoja to embrace disarmament and to mobilize the people to voluntarily surrender their guns. And of course, if the people don't voluntarily surrender their guns, ultimately force has to be applied.
This today is a new chapter. It's a new chapter. You have been refocused, you have been guided, you are strategic. All leaders have resolved. We work together as a unity, for transformation, to ensure we stop this activity of raid.
According to intelligence clues, they resolved to conduct instant surprise attacks and swift. Karamoja has 50 industrial and commercial minerals. Katabazi appealed to Karamojongs to utilize the milk processing machines as pastoral community rather than engaging in pastoral raids.
From southwestern Uganda, my brother Kacheri will forgive me, is that you are fighting over goats, you are calling cows. Okay, let them be cows since they are called cows. There is no factory for milk, no collection center for milk in Karamoja. There is no slaughterhouse for export of meat either out of Karamoja or outside Uganda. We are counting dead bodies.
In the meeting, it was resolved that if peace has failed, force is going to be used. Kotido LC5 chairperson Paul Komolo Lote say they are to mobilize locals to end insecurity.
As the chairperson of Kotido, I will go and mobilize the people of Kotido. The same with my other counterparts. We will mobilize their people. The people of Karamoja should be mobilized to embrace development, other than spending all the resources on fighting cattle rustling, fighting insecurity.
That's today with the guidance from the central government and the army leadership, we have come to an agreement that we really refocused. And we have really confirmed that all of us will work as a team and see to it that we go and really support the disarmament exercise in Karamoja, so that the peace we have been yearning for regains its glory.
Report compiled by Maureen Iga in Karamoja.
Doctors at Home Clinic in Jinja has extended medical services to the community to address the increasing disease burden in people's homes. This was disclosed during a 4-day medical camp targeting key diseases affecting the people in the area. Muzey Muhammad Sande, 61, a resident of Busembatia, is one of the patients who utilized the free opportunity. The intervention of doctors at home bridges the gap of limited health practitioners working in communities.
But we are not handling those ones with fractures, those ones with tumors.
Kanteka mwakaseke mazina kebanga deni kwekuulira programu ya nakapanti tukagenda kulongosa abantu abakaseke ati kwekujja kufuna bujjanjabi obwo
tugenda kubona abonane ne ba attendant ndi ogenda kubona abona attendant bagambe lero tetuna kitanda kya attendant fe oba oli otya oba olina mattress oba tolina mattress oba tugenda kusiba wabulu tukube omusumali tekewo tuli ready okujanjabira ewaka kusende nsamusa.
Now, Uganda will commemorate World Book and Copyright Day that's marked annually on the 23rd of April. Now, this year's theme is You Are a Reader, and it encourages people to embrace reading. A State Minister for Gender and Cultural Affairs, Peace Mutuzo, says that several people, including health camp, will take place at the National Library and other libraries across the country.
Uganda will on Saturday, April 23rd, join the world to commemorate the World Book and Copyright Day. The launch of a book, health camp, are some of the activities that will take place to mark the day.
The National Library of Uganda will showcase its wide range of activities and operations. Members of the public are encouraged to come and explore the library. There will also be books and creative industry exhibition donations, and the health camp at the premise. The health camp will draw a number of health practitioners who will offer a number of services including HIV testing and counseling services, COVID-19 sensitization camps, blood donation, and many others. We shall also have 2 children's reading tents, one at Nagongera Public Library in Toro District on Wednesday 20th, 2019, on Wednesday 20th, 2022, and the second one at the National Library.
In embracing technology, government has established ICT centers in Barara, Fort Portal, and other districts. The ministry has drafted the national policy for libraries expected to operationalize next financial year as the legal framework to facilitate the establishment of more public libraries.
The draft is already in place, and we are hopeful by the next financial year the draft policy will have gone through the approval processes up to cabinet so that we have it in place.
Uganda has registered 1,683 local books in various forms like novels, written and published in 2021. Miriam Wamcha, UBC News.
The National Curriculum Development Center, NCDC, has started training secondary school teachers on masters trainers on assessment of revised lower secondary curriculum. The training equips participants with skills to conduct different models of assessment, design projects, and manage the 20% assessment. A curriculum specialist at the NCDC, Muganga Kagolo Christopher, says it will also cover assessment for the world of work and the end cycle assessment for the lower secondary learners. Take a watch.
By university, people are no longer in first class, but they came with the distinctions. It means it was a forced teaching. It was the teacher's mark and not their mark, to force them to write things the way.
Assessment, the way it is done, and the need for assessment. Because the old assessment methods have been looking at only getting marks, either so frequently without the aim of what are you assessing, or at the end of the time, and then they just try to position people according to who is the first and who is the last. But in a competency-based curriculum, that's not the intent. The intention is who has the ability and the potential to do something.
We started the new curriculum without instructional materials. It is very true that not all projects can be started when everything is available. Even when you are constructing a house, you cannot tell me that every brick, all iron sheets, all nails, everything must be in place. Some of them, you bring them as you work. But as far as instructional materials were concerned, we had them in place. We had the syllabuses distributed to all government and private schools before the syllabus, before the curriculum was rolled out in 2020. We had the prototype books which we developed for Senior 1. We provided these before the curriculum was started. The Ministry of Education also has distributed these instructional materials to all the schools. So let us not use instructional materials as an excuse to fail.
Business News is up next after this short break.
Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans. Get a top-up loan when you have insufficient funds to buy airtime, pay utility bills, or make payments at a local supermarket. Complete your transaction and pay later. Dial *185 *7 *10# to opt in. Get an Airtel Money Quick Loan and pay later. Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans in partnership with Housing Finance Bank and powered by Yabex. Airtel, the smartphone network.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves. High-flying saves. Unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebration.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Gold TV, love it.
Need to send money to a loved one but you don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for your car or water but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop but you don't have enough money? Don't worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165 *5 to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of business. Uganda Coffee stakeholders are still criticizing government's deal with Uganda Vinci Coffee Company Limited, which they accuse of promoting monopolistic trade in a free market economy. In February this year, Finance Minister Karamoja and the Secretary to Treasury signed the deal on behalf of the government of Uganda with Uganda Vinci Coffee Company Limited that would see the Italian company have preferential treatment in Africa's biggest coffee market. Mark Arnold Wadulo gives us more.
There is no way we can create a monopoly in a liberal economy.
Queries of the motive behind the MOU signed by the Finance Minister Karamoja and the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury Ramadan Gobi are still at play, with players in the coffee sector crying foul.
Because for a given period of time, these companies are going to pay no taxes whatsoever. Import duty, excise duty, value-added tax, everything. And they've clearly indicated it, that no tax under the laws of Uganda will be paid by this company.
Clause 4.2 of the MOU stipulates that government will guarantee supply of coffee to Vinci Coffee Company Limited and will not allow any other exporting company to register ahead of it.
So when you read those two provisions together, the MOU and the registrations, you can clearly see that the export of coffee has been ring-fenced for UVCC. If I can't export, number one, I become an unreliable supplier to my buyer. Number two, those buyers out there who are buying from all these 44 exporters will be like, oh, Uganda is not a reliable place to buy coffee from. So they will change and start buying from other origins.
What makes them think that Uganda won't be a reliable supplier? Can't they then directly talk to Vinci?
The contacts. Coffee is a relationship business. It's a relationship business. You can't take that away from anybody.
As of March 2022, Uganda registered over 40 coffee exporters, with the biggest players for almost a decade being Chagalanya Coffee, Kawacom, Ugandacom, Olam Uganda and Ebero. But these and other small players risk being sidelined out of business should this agreement take effect.
Simple economics tells you that if you want to improve the quality, you increase competition. If you want to improve on quantity, you improve on competition. What our government should have done is to empower as many companies as possible to compete at that end of the value chain.
These stakeholders claim they were not consulted nor represented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Uganda Coffee Development Authority.
The MOU specifically mentions that the product they will produce is spray-dried instant coffee. Spray-dried, meaning it's coffee from the lowest of the low. But at the beginning of the MOU, there is a mention that the business will only require high-grade coffees.
Uganda's coffee exports in June 2021 amounted to 618,388 60-kilogram bags, worth $58.56 million, the highest in a single month since 1991. It is also important to note that in 2020, Uganda became Africa's biggest coffee exporter. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News, in Kampala.
Still on that coffee deal, members of the Parliamentary Caucus of the Democratic Party have expressed intentions of soliciting 3 million signatures throughout Uganda in protest of the recent agreement signed by the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning and Uganda Vinci Coffee Company Limited. According to the document dated February 10, 2022, Ramadan Gobi, the Secretary to the Treasury, signed on behalf of the government, while Enrica Pinetti, an Italian investor and board chairperson of Uganda Vinci Coffee, signed on behalf of the company.
The company was given free land in the industrial and business park at Mwanafunzi after it indicated its capability of establishing a coffee processing facility in Kampala. According to the signed document dated February 10, 2022, by Ramadan Gobi, the Secretary to the Treasury, signed on behalf of the government, the company will be given exclusive rights to buy all Uganda's coffee even before the government can look at other players. Its concession will end in 2032. But it is subject to renewal. The same investor received promissory notes to a tune of $379.7 million for the construction of the stored Lubowa Hospital and has now reportedly received half of the additional 667.8 billion Uganda shillings for the coffee project. Abed Wanika, the Shadow Minister for Agriculture, tabled the document titled Deed of Amendment and Restatement before the Tuesday plenary sitting last week. Following this move, the Democratic Party is contemplating soliciting over 300 signatures to overturn the signed alleged disastrous deal, according to the Democratic Party Deputy Chief Whip in Parliament and MP for Mityana South, Richard Lumu.
And we have over 40 lawyers. We are going to court to see that court gives us witness of this one. Prepare. We are going to design a form, send it down there. And we won't even hold rallies. We are not. It is going to go smoothly, but it will be successful.
The document in question, according to independent political and economic analysts, seeks to alienate Ugandans that are involved in coffee exportation and trade out of business by giving monopoly of purchase and export coffee from Uganda to the company. Lumu also revealed that as a caucus, they have lined up a team of 10 lawyers to challenge the same agreement, which he says is still full of conflicts between the Attorney General's office and that of the Solicitor General.
The Attorney General was telling Uganda that he cleared this agreement. But The Solicitor General yesterday came out in a tweet and he said for him he had never seen the agreement. So what I want to tell this country is that there might be a problem in the Attorney General's office because the Solicitor General and the Attorney General are working so close. They are supposed to be too close on each and every document, on each and every case.
Copies of the same agreement indicate that it was signed on the 10th of February this year. According to the signed agreement, open quotes, nobody will procure coffee, nobody will export coffee unless this company gets the quota that they want, close quotes. The provision of the Coffee Act, Clause 52, says that the Coffee Authority should be the one to come up with options and avenues where coffee should be traded, but, open quotes, the agreement gives power to this company to know when it can determine how much to buy, when to buy, and also determine the price. The agreement also exempts Uganda Vinci Coffee Company Limited from all taxes for 10 years. Report compiled by Collins Juko in Kampala.
And the coffee wars continue. Mineral security operatives in Kikube district have displaced over 20,000 people out of Changwari ancestral land to pave way for an Indian investor to use the land he acquired from Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom on lease for 99 years. Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom leased close to 22 square miles of Changwari ancestral land, commonly known as Bogoma forest land, to Hoima Sugar for sugarcane plantation.
The forest has been encouraged, and so far we have 4 people were arrested, and those ones were taken to court. But the other allegations of torture, the allegations of illegal evictions, we have not evicted anyone. When we came, we had engagement with these people, and they peacefully left the land. And that's why you see the Asian has come in to begin plowing his land. The rest of allegations, those ones are false. That's why we came.
Yatujja abantu batakoleramu n'omuyinda balekire kukola kulinda court order yakora ki ejarugire konka bamanda mugumize murakola ki muratemu twagumiza muto turakora ki turakora nko turakora ku rugenyuma twikiriza ingene no muyindi
kandi n'abantu bakubayiba mu sente nkubako bahita katali lyabo mali biro bino hacyariho umuntu ukwijaka ngo mu kibero kinengere mu agro security committee eyikale yabayikirize bahavestinge oba basarure ebicyoli byabone ebihimba byabo niko enjali taita abana babona beta bayita bukora de batire makasende kandi mukora ebintu.
Sports news now, and the 2022 Uganda Secondary Schools Sports Association National Boys Football Championship has started in Arua City. It is hosted at Mvara Senior Secondary School but played at venues across the city. In some of the opening day fixtures, St. Mary's Stadium Chitende failed the Ikiki SS Budaka test in a 1-all stalemate, as did Chibuli SS against West Vile SS. Bungagari SS beat Mpiji Mixed 1-0. Hosts Mvara outclassed Burembo 2-0. Dynamic SS humbled Lakeside SS Masese 3-0, while 2-time champions Budo SS made light work of Aloet Parents in a 4-0 victory of this Group A encounter. Take a watch.
So much happy for winning the first game. You know, it's not easy in every tournament winning your first game. So we're so happy as a team. And at the same time, being at home, I want to promise my home people that we need something a lot. As a person, I'm going to work hard and at least uplift my team and get something fruitful in this tournament. At the same time, I want to thank every fan here, every Arua Hill fan, and Also at the same time, I want to welcome them to support my school, Budo SS.
Okay, our objective in the first game was to get 3 points. We traveled yesterday and we reached a bit late. You could see that they wanted to play, but due to the distance we traveled, they couldn't. But the most important thing is coming up with the 4 goals and getting the needed points to build on. So we are going to go rest and wait for the next game. The expectations of the tournament, we want to win the tournament. There is no other target we have. Just first we want to get out of the group as leaders, then we see the opponents we get in the round of 16 and win all our matches until we become the champions. Yeah.
Five minutes after 11 in the studios of UBC TV, we finally come to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukid Edward Kijanangoma. See you tomorrow and have a blessed night.
Join us from Monday to Friday for Good Morning Uganda with me, Felix Mkono, Robert Chirabo,
Molen Kenyana,
Ruben Mpimba, with all the morning's essentials,
including the very latest in news, traffic,
weather and sports.
Hope you'll be setting your alarms.